Hey guys, it is Lily here from Crafting Through Mental Health. So today we are doing the autism tag. So I have gotten these questions from online. All of them were from a Tumblr called Autistic Living, and the original idea was from Karen McLean. I hope I pronounced that right. She has a channel called Aspie Answers. I will link that down below. She suggested this to me when I asked on a Facebook group called Small YouTubers Community. It is brilliant if you are a small YouTuber. We are going back in time to 2010 or around then to tag videos. There aren't any other autistic tags out there, so if you want to use these questions, go ahead. When did you discover you were autistic? I discovered when I was 10. My mum told me, because I knew I had something not quite right. I had a speech problem and then I couldn't read and write very well. So I knew there wasn't something quite right, but I was diagnosed at age 7. What are your special interests? I, at the moment, love crafting, art and anything to do with that. I'm trying to think when I was younger. I get obsessional about things. And I was very obsessed with these Build-A-Bear workshop bears. I've never talked about this in a video. I'm really embarrassed about it. I was obsessed with those for years, and it's that sort of connection, I can't stop playing with them because I put too many years of work into it. I was very obsessed with those. But what kind of sensory input do you find uncomfortable? That's a tricky one, because there isn't anything certain I can put yes, it's that. Probably taste. I'm quite funny about food. And touch I get quite odd with, but as for light, not so much anymore. Maybe when I was a little bit younger I used to be a bit I'm still a bit I have to be in complete darkness when I sleep and things like that, but the thing is that might not be linked with my autism, so anything like that, yeah. And if there's too much talking in a room, I don't like that, but it's nothing like noises. Certain noises annoy me, but I think certain noises annoy everyone. So as for that, there isn't anything 100% I can go, yep, definitely that. Which do you enjoy? Probably touch. I quite like soft things. I'm ooh yeah. And sponges. But yeah, that's probably it now, yeah. What are your thoughts on self-diagnosis? I believe in it, I think, especially for autism, because we have only started being really looked into over the last 20 or so years. I know people that are 10 years older than me and they never got diagnosed, so they never got looked into, where nowadays kids do. So I believe when you're young, I do think you can have an inkling oh, I think they might be autistic. To go, they're autistic and that's it, and not get a test, I don't think is the best idea. I think it is a good idea to either rule it in or rule it out, or go, there might be something else there. So I always believe getting diagnosed. If you really believe you are, get yourself diagnosed. But if you are an adult, I believe there are people. So I'm on the milder case of autism. I know people that aren't diagnosed, but in my head, I'm I'm 99% sure you are. And also within the family as well, because I believe it is a genetical thing. We don't know what it is. We don't know if it's it's a single marker there that we know what it is, but I do believe it is genetical, because you do see it run in families. Yes, I do believe in it, mainly for adults and older people, because there's no point getting it diagnosed when you're older, because there's not that much help. But as a child, you can get more help if you are diagnosed. Therefore, I think it is better to get it diagnosed. What is one thing you wish everybody knew about autism? I think everybody likes to put people in boxes. And you want to go, this is the traits of autism. You have to have all of those or most of those to be autistic. Obviously there is a criteria you have to hit to be autistic, because then everyone would be autistic. I hate that saying. We're not all autistic. So I want people to know, one, we're not all autistic, okay? I really hate that saying. And also that we're all different. I'm not great at maths. I'm not great at maths, but someone who is also very similar to me with autism might be brilliant at maths. We're all very different, and you can be very opposite. You can be very, 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 very clever, and you know, you hear about these people with Asperger's who have amazing, amazing minds, and you know, you hear of like famous people that have come up with this stuff and they're brilliant at it. But you also have these people that are very, I don't want to say not clever, but for me, as an example, like me, I believe I am clever, but academically I'm not very clever. If you could repel one myth about autism, what would it be? Now, I know majority of the world doesn't think this anymore, but I hate going on Tumblr and being like, look, there is proof that vaccinations cause autism. Did you not learn anything at school about the fact that, you know, when the little charts go up, it also can be not linked? If they both look similar, they're not always linked. Vaccinations have gone up because we vaccinate now to eliminate bad diseases and stuff like that. I mean, polio is pretty much nearly dead now, and there are others as well. And I'm a believer that it's always best to vaccinate your children, because, you know, even if they did cause autism, which there is no proof whatsoever, autism is still better than your child being severely ill or even maybe dying from certain diseases. But that's a personal opinion, you know, I'm not trying to push it on anyone. So yes, I want those people to learn to do their research, describe a place or situation that would be hell for you. I really don't cope when there is a lot of things going on and there's a lot of people talking at me and I have to listen, and I block off then. I can only really listen one at a time. I've improved over the years, but that is an issue for me. So that when there's a lot of people all around and I'm like, I'm not even stopping shaking my hands. I don't cope well with that. Also pipes. I don't know if this is autistic or anything, but rooms full of pipes freak me out. Also, before I forget, I don't know if this is autistic again. Like, I have the opposite of claustrophobic. I can't stand really high buildings or like really wide open spaces. It makes me feel like really like horrible, and I really hate it. Like the Tate in London, I had to walk around like this because I couldn't deal with how high it was, and it freaks me out. Do you have any other mental health issues that you think might be linked? Now, this is tricky again because I'm born with autism, and you know, I believe everyone is born with, you know, autistic people are born with autism. So if I think they're linked or not, it's sort of like tricky to know, isn't it? Unless you've had like a trauma in your life that you can pinpoint your mental health issues on, it's quite tricky to know if something's linked with your autism. But I do believe it all has. I don't like going, I have anxiety because I'm autistic, and putting that full stop there and never sorting it out, because even though I'm never going to get rid of autism, it's always going to be there. It is who I am. You can still resolve the issues that you suffer from with autism. So I have anxiety, and I do believe that was caused by the autism. Like, it started off, like, I used to have like, not panic attacks, but I really freaked out when I used to have really bad anxiety going to nursery and having that connection issue with my mum, where I didn't want to be away from her. And I think that was very much linked to my autism. It might have also been the fact that I had a speech problem. There were issues like that. And I don't like change. That's the thing. That's a big thing for autism. I don't like change. So therefore, it brings up anxiety when I have change. But other than that, I would say like everything else stems from my anxiety and my issues there. They probably were linked with autism because maybe I would have been more self-confident if I didn't have reading and writing skills, or I didn't have a speech problem, or I didn't feel different. I mean, with my autism, the problem I had with that was when I was little, I never felt like I was part with everyone. I always felt like I was the odd one out. I'm the one that's different. And even now I do. What are some problems you have in your everyday life that were caused by autism? Reading and writing is a big one. I was always behind with that. My speech was a big one back in the day. Obviously it's a lot better now. There's still times where I can't pronounce stuff and I just kind of have an attitude of, if you understand what I said, then I don't care if I don't say it exactly correctly, because it's so rare and it takes so long for me to learn how to say it, and it's frustrating and annoying. So I don't care if I don't say things perfectly all the time. Making eye contact, I'm not brilliant at. So yeah, that is another issue, but I never really get brought up as a bad issue. But yeah, there's little things like that, like certain situations I don't cope well in, and I find it hard to react to people. I don't know when to go in for a hug or physically react to people. I'm not brilliant at that. But, you know, I wouldn't say every day is a burden because of my autism. When I was younger, maybe, but not now. What do you like about being autistic? That is tricky because, yet again, it is me. So it's like saying, what traits do you like about yourself? It's hard to come up with. I have a good memory. It's not as good now as I've gotten older because I feel like my brain's been filled up with other stuff. But I have a very good memory. What do you dislike? The reading and writing is probably the biggest hindrance I have from it. And also understanding situations and reacting badly to them. This is my favourite question. If there was a cure, would you take it? No, I wouldn't. Now, if someone came along with a magical potion and said, this will take away your autism, I wouldn't take it away, because what else is that taking away from me? What part of my personality is that taking away from me? If I had a potion to make my reading and writing better, then yes, maybe. But my whole autism, who would I be without it? But on another point is, if I had a child and they said, your child is autistic, and they were very young, and they said, drink this magical potion, no side effects or anything like that, would I take it? Yeah, I would give it to them. Because I had a very hard upbringing, not like my parents or anything, but at school, having those anxiety attacks, having that speech problem, I wouldn't undo it to myself, but if I knew my child was going to go through that, I would give them a cure. I know some charities, mainly over in America, are like, we're looking for a cure for autism, and then it's actually terminating a pregnancy and finding out if they can find out if the baby is autistic before that. Would I then terminate the pregnancy? No, I would only do it if my child would be still healthy. I would do it then, because autism has a lot of downsides to it. I wouldn't change myself, but if there was a magical cure, I would give it to my child. What topics are you likely to info dump on? So I take that as, what do you remember very well? Dates. I'm very good at dates. Like, I remember birthdays. I remember birthdays of random people I met, or people I haven't met. There's a lot there, like, just random. I used to be a lot better than I am now, but I'm very good at remembering random facts as well. Like, I'll just come out with something and they're like, where did that come from? Like, I don't know, I just remembered it from like 10 years ago. That is the end of the tag. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you so much for all your support. I love you all so much, and I will see you guys next week.